Good. I'm good. We're having this amazing storm here in North Carolina. We're expecting 3 inches of rain in like 3 hours or something. It's crazy.
Oh my God, really? Wow. Uh, well, I hope you're sheltered in. You're sheltering in place,
I'm sheltering in place,
and you're safe, and you're going to get through this.
and
Um,
we're building an ark.
and you're building an ark. Yeah, yeah. Alisa, thank you so much. Viewers remember you were on the show talking about a women's motorcycle conference that you'd organized just recently. Before
Yeah.
we get into your book and give us a quick update. How did that go? What happened? Tell us a
Ah,
little bit more.
it's great. I think my time we did the last minute decision to bring folks together, and within 2 weeks, well, had 25 different speakers, 14 different workshops, 2 panels, and 3 different connection sessions. And we had, we sold 348 tickets to folks in 9 different countries. And so it was really great to feel everybody come together and get the feedback. The feedback's still coming in. People were really delighted to come together, and it was really great to that we thought of it because I'm a motorcycle touring company, and so to bring people together online this time when we're all like separated and home and sort of yearning, it's the beginning of the riding season in most of the country, and we're all like, we want to come together. It was really great. It felt really good to be
Oh,
of
that's
service.
wonderful. That's wonderful. And all this, yeah, the technical elements all went okay, and no surprises.
Um,
You can make me
you
feel bad.
know,
It's okay. I mean, I'm doing my part now. Go ahead.
No, there's always learning with technology. And so we use Zoom webinars to
Okay.
deliver the conference. And it was interesting because I've used Zoom extensively in business for meetings and stuff, but the webinars was a whole new thing. So that was a little interesting. We did a lot of training with our presenters and a few snafus, but yeah. Uh, oh, now I can see Wes too. Hello.
So,
um,
so let me ask you a
technology.
question. Let me ask you a question. I keep on doing this. I keep on having your name key over my face, and then people say, "Oh God, he's not Alisa." You got into motorcycling late. You got into it in 1995. What prompted that?
I had a dream. I was going through a divorce, and um, I was having a bunch of stress dreams. And one of those dreams was I was running for my life, and I saw a motorcycle, and I hopped on it. And in a magical way of dreams, I knew how to operate it, and I sped away. And in that moment, I woke up, and I sat up in bed, and I was like, I have to learn how to ride a motorcycle. It's a crazy story, but it's so true. Women's Motorcycle
Or
Tours
did
was
it?
born. It kind of did. I have woven in and out of the motorcycle industry ever since I started riding. A few years when I started leading demo rides for Kawasaki and then BMW Motorrad, and at the New York IMS show, one time I went by the Edelweiss booth. No, sorry, it was the BMW booth, and I started chatting with one of the folks, and I said, "Hey, how do I get to work for you?" And the fellow that I was speaking to, his name was Norm Smith, and he became a mentor of mine, and he asked me a lot of questions, and then he finally said to me, "You don't want to do what I do. You want to be a motorcycle tour guide." And I was like, "Oh, what? There's a job like that? You cycles?" And so I started working for Edelweiss Bike Travel, and I was a tour guide for them for five years. And exposed me to both international motorcycle travelers and international motorcycle travel. Um, and then fast forward a couple of years, I was at one of the BMW rallies, And I met two other ladies there who had done their own connected for some reason. So the three of us ladies connected, and we were years ago, and it was in a time where there weren't so many female motorcyclists, so it was really novel for the three of us to meet each other, and we connected. So we decided we were going to go riding motorcycles together, and that's really when my idea was born, to form a motorcycle touring company, because there was just so much joy in the three of us sort of coming together and sharing our stories. And we rented a cabin that night. You know, we chased each other all over I think Montana during the day. And then at night we rented a cabin and, you know, shared travel stories and shared, you know, motorcycle kit. And one of us, one of the, it's a stove that you I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so we were making. No, it's a little just a little tiny stove, and it just heats like one cup of water at a time. Anyway, it was so cool, and we were making hot chocolate and sitting there on the bed and yakking. And the next day riding, it just hit me. This is what I want to do. I want to create this for other lady motorcyclists.
What year was that? Of course, do you remember what year? I don't want. Was it 2010, 2011, around that time?
Yeah, I next year, 2021 year anniversary. Was texting me Jetboil, and that's right, it was Jetboil. Next year will be the 10-year anniversary of Women's Motorcycle 11. I can't remember. I'd have to look back at the BMW records and see maybe where that I we all rode together.
The reason for my question is because 2010, 2011, there was 7, 8, 9% of women riders, and I keep on going back to this, and I consider you to be one of the inspirations for, along with the other ones, the great women riders who have also considered leaders in the industry, with Baird, Carla King, I can go on and on and on, Liz Jansen, but have all played a very influential role in encouraging more and more into it.
The evidence is on the roadways. I mean, nowadays it's not so abnormal for to run into another woman solo rider. It's really incredible, and also evidenced in all the manufacturers for several years now have been making motorcycles that are fit a wider array of body sizes, and we have more gear that fits a wider array of body shapes. It's really remarkable and gratifying. Yeah.
Well, let me switch the conversation a little bit. I want to talk about your book. You have a best-selling book that's out there right now, and it's called "Boost Your Confidence Through Motorcycling: A Woman's Guide to Being Your Best Self." And it ties motorcycling to self-confidence. I put a picture up of the book for everybody can see. And like I said, you've been an advocate for many years. But what prompted you to write this then in 2019?
That started as a blog post. I create a lot of content for other folks, and that's how I put gas in my tank. I sell my content to magazines and stuff, and I kept, as a typical writer, I didn't have a market for it, so I would go back and noodle it, and then noodle it some more, and it just kept growing and getting bigger. And then one day I was lamenting to a friend of mine. I said, "Oh, this is so long. It's like a book. Nobody read that." She said, then I had to go back and I had to remake it into a book, rework it, better form and structure, because there's a different form and structure to a blog post or whatever I was creating. So then it turned into a book. And one of the best moments of my life was last year sharing an author table with none other than Liz Jansen, one of my heroines. We shared a booth at the BMW MOA, and then also last year, I was so honored to be at the Biker Bells celebration at Sturgis, and I shared an author table with Gloria Struck, and Chris Summer Simmons was there, and she was actually giving me encouragement, and I'm like, this is, all these luminaries, and here I am sitting with all these people. It was incredible. It was really, really great.
That's so cool. In your book, and I thought which was really interesting is that you talk about how young women are programmed at an early age, and it's almost a deprogramming. When they're very young, um, and you see this. There's a lot of social studies, the programs that take on like this, where there is no such a thing as racism at a very young age. It's only introduced as in adult or by adults, young their personalities. Do you motorcycling to break that mold? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Mostly because it was my story, and then as I met other motorcycle ladies, I was hearing the same thing, that it was their story too. And motorcycling is a challenge. The whole physicality of it, learning to ride, and it's a sport, but it's also a very independent sport. And I think motorcycling for women is a very different psychological journey than it is for men. And I my guess, I'm not a man. I know it's definitely a journey for myself and so many other people that I've spoken to. As we build mastery over machine, that instills a sense of confidence in us, and because of the visceral excitement that we get from riding a motorcycle, and the rather addictiveness of it, it helps us expand thinking and our conceived boundaries of how we're capable of. And then after a while, that spills over into other areas of our lives. And certainly that was my case. I mean, you can read on the back of the book, I was a shy housewife, and rather not shy now.
Well, I do believe motorcycling instills a lot of confidence, man or woman. There's no question about it.
Okay.
But I think it's a great read because there are a lot of parallels for people, boy and girl, who are programmed to do things in one particular way, and it's a great way. Motorcycling becomes a great way to help boost that confidence and break that mold. Alisa, I want to just ask one last question before we get going because I'm taking up a lot of time here, and I really thank you for your time. But
yeah, thank you.
We were talking about your online conference when we started this segment. Tell me, are you going to do another one?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have another women's online conference planned for August 21 to 22. But my team just decided that we're going to also offer a non-ladies specific motorcycle conference June 5th and 6th under the banner of Rev Talks, REVVTALKS.com, which the website isn't even up yet. We just literally decided this 2 days ago, and we're now putting together our presenters and the website and everything, and we'll have a press release going out next week once we have some folks confirmed, but that will be June 5th and 6th, and we're going to bring a lot of really, I think, interesting topics that haven't been heard before. Of course, I'm an author, and I love supporting authors, so we'll have an author's corner. We'll also have a makers panel, different makers in the industry. We're going to have a journalist panel because I hear from a lot of folks that they like talking to journalists in the industry and getting their unique. We'll have some mindset stuff, a lot of how-to stuff, and I'm super excited about it. Yeah.
Well, I keep
Thanks
on
for
saying
asking.
that. Oh, no problem. I keep on saying this, and the invitation is there. I hope I don't have to invite you back, and I hope we'll all be out riding, and then bedtime stories with the cyclist is something of the past. But if I do, and I'm around, maybe you can come back and tell us a little bit more about it as we get a little closer to the date. Would you agree to do that for me?
Absolutely. I have so much fun with you. Thank you so much. An honor to be on here with all your really cool guests.